Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lesser Known but Awesome Heroes. And today, I'm gonna talk about two females. And of course, the month of February here. Yeah, we're keeping the Lesser Known Black History mini marathon going. And today, I'm gonna actually talk about a female character from the Wildstorm universe. And is actually a character who is a member of both the United Nations and of the superhero-esque group Stormwatch. And today I'm going to talk about Victoria, and I'm just going to spell out her last name, Ngengi. That's right, I'm going to be talking about the superheroine known as Flint. Now, Flint actually is, in a sense, the female version of Luke Cage, in a way. Not in the fact that she, comes from, the neighborhood or anything, but I mean, in terms of her powers, she's like Luke Cage, because she has invulnerable skin and superhuman strength. As a matter of fact, it's even been stated that her skin is so rock hard that in the Wildstorm universe, it is said to be the hardest thing known to science. Bullets actually affect her just as much as a stiff rain, and even a rocket at most can knock her back and damage her costume. And dropping her from a great height will result in a crater and even an unfazed, Flint. However, she is more vulnerable to energy weapons, and her skin can be damaged by concentrated molecular acid, though it cannot be destroyed completely, and the scarring will repair itself given a sufficient amount of time. And although she does not display extreme super strength, her blows have been impressive. Presumably a combination of her strength, speed, and rock-hard hands, she can behead a normal man in one single punch, and there's even a picture that I saw where she literally uppercuts a tree so hard that she actually broke it in half and uprooted it at the same time. And she has even been known to actually kill bulletproof, superhumans with a good rush-by punch to the jaw. In recent years, she has actually displayed superhuman speed, as she can easily do things faster than a normal human possibly could, such as changing clothes, and is superhumanly good at catching projectiles in mid-flight. She is also very prevalent to grabbing large objects and throwing them with great fluidity, power, and accuracy. She can also create a brutal vectorized yeah, it actually says vectorized shockwave by slamming her hands together. The result blast of pressurized air is enough to break the back of a cybernetically enhanced man. Okay, so basically she can do a supercharged version, or in a sense a Hulk style like thunderclap. Okay, that's kind of scary. Let's get into her origins, though, shall we? Victoria debuted sorry, having nasal problems. She debuted in Stormwatch issue 28, and they don't apparently give a date, which is not a good thing. And she was created by Jeff Mariotte and Ron Lim Lim. She is actually Kenyan and has survived much of Kenya's recent history, or at least the worst of it. Her father and brother were actually killed in a border skirmish with Tanzania in the mid-70s, and her mother was murdered 2 years later. She thus was brought up as a ward of the state. Her remarkable strength was noticed early, and she was thought to be a potential Olympic competitor for Kenya. A few years after, her seedling powers began to emerge, and she was noticed by the UN. When the superhuman members of the Stormwatch Agency were decimated during the Despot crisis, the UN found itself facing a severe shortage in metahuman manpower and hired or recruited various superhumans from around the world. And she eventually made it to full Stormwatch operative status when her superhuman assets were recognized. She was assigned to Stormwatch Red. At this point, Bendick's madness was taking its toll. This affected Flint personally, as she was sent in by part of a small team to attack Kaizen Kaizen Gamora's island nation in response to a terrorist bomb that killed over 223 innocent aircraft passengers and crew. Though Flint and her teammate Fahrenheit's role was to destroy the abandoned property, they had to watch as ally Rose Tattoo obeyed Bendix's orders to kill 223 Gamoran citizens, any citizens, man, woman, or child. The organization eventually went into a crisis when the madness of Bendix became obvious. Jenny Sparks of Stormwatch Black had to kill him and assumed command, or so it was thought. Bendix actually survived her attacks. A new Stormwatch, however, would rise from the ashes of Bendix's organization, and it would be headed by Jackson King, who succeeded Bendix as Stormwatch's weatherman. Okay. Oh, I get that. I get the humor in that line. Okay, Flint became a core member of the team. And despite the considerable talents on roster, this version of Stormwatch lasted for only a few months. Though they accomplished many things during this time, mostly thwarting superhuman creation schemes. Much of what confronted was engineered behind the scenes by Bendix. And soon they intercepted a massive meteor getting close to Earth. Stormwatch's super satellite was breached and invaded by hundreds of aliens. The situation quickly became catastrophic. There we go. And most of the crew died. An intervention by the Wildcats allowed the surviving Stormwatch personnel to reach the bridge and evacuate, while Winter remained behind to pilot the condemned station into the sun, incinerating the aliens. As for Flint herself, she fell during the early hours of the battle, defending the escape pod so the crew could evacuate. She burst open an alien with a punch, and to her surprise, the acid blood of the creature proved capable of wounding her. She fell back into the escape pod, which then launched as she was struggling to stop the acid from burning her. She was safe, but considerably dismayed by her involuntary retreat from battle. The damage was enough to leave her with large permanent scars on the face and shoulder. Yeah. At that point, Stormwatch was shut down, and Stormwatch Black became the Authority. The only other superhero operatives of Stormwatch were Jackson King, Christine T.R.E. Lane, and of course Victoria herself. They were retained reserve status, but Stormwatch was dead. After Stormwatch fell, Flint was only seen once at a party held by the Authority, and though she was happy to be reunited with Jenny Sparks and Swift, she seemed bitter about so many people not even remembering Stormwatch. 1 or 2 years later, however, checking the time here. However, 1 or 2 years later, as the threat from superhuman operatives failed to reside, the UN assembled a new superhuman crisis control team known as the New Stormwatch. Although the budget was but a mere shadow of the old Stormwatch, the new weatherman was American veteran Benitosantini. He was extremely weary about superhumans, and his core team was elite soldiers from all over the world without superpowers. Given the small size, lack of budget, and extreme danger of the missions, he eventually added superhumans to his team to replace the losses, but mostly as part of the support team. Flint was the first obvious superhuman that he recruited, putting her on the front line. In the front line capacity, more or less. Yeah, put her on the front line, whatever, you get the point. He had chosen her due to her idealism. She was fighting to change the world and for the common good. Flint proves a professional, efficient, and disciplined member of the team and an invaluable asset. In the wake of the Authority taking control of the U.S. when the new Stormwatch seceded from the UN and went rogue, Flint actually followed him. The team went underground and fled to Europe, where she actually would marry him. After a series of mostly successful missions, the new Stormwatch found itself stranded on a parallel Earth where the entire population had been killed by a rogue, superpowered being. Although they do have a plan to get out, it involves walking from the U.S. to Siberia. It is thus likely that they will not be seen again for a long time. She is seen, however, during the World's End storyline in the new Stormwatch post-human division team fighting alongside Deathblow and Fahrenheit on a post-apocalyptic Earth. And that, guys, is actually the very last set of information, actually, for Flint. So, yeah. Pretty lengthy video to a certain extent, and certainly a pretty interesting character. So with that, guys, this is Flint. This has been Flint's video. Stay tuned, of course, for the second character, which will be DC Comics Bumblebee. So, as always, guys, stay tuned for the next one and for the second character.